Thousand Trails, Medina Lake. You come in, there's a check-in office on the left. There's your gate. So we're here at Thousand Trails, Lake Medina, at Medina Lake here in Texas. And we've been here for a few days. We're going to be here a few more days. The location is convenient to San Antonio. We're looking forward tomorrow to go in and see the Alamo and some of the Spanish Catholic missions that were established here many, many years ago. Very historic area, and from what we understand, it's the 8th largest city in the U.S., San Antonio. Who knew? But right now I'm going to talk about the Medina Lake Thousand Trails Campground. The campground is a little rough. Let's just say it's seen better days. Medina Lake is dried up, and apparently the community here thrived when the lake was full of water. And you see it in a lot of the local folks' yards. There are boats, jet skis. Quite obviously, this was quite the vacation spot for people from San Antonio because it was only an hour away. Unfortunately, due to climate change or for whatever reason, it's dried up. And so there's really not much to do because that was the main focus of the campground and surrounding area, and that was water sports, fishing, etc., etc. The campground itself, in our opinion, has sort of fallen into disrepair. A lot of the sites, I'm going to show you some of them, are rough. There's a mixed bag, hodgepodge of 30 amp and 50 amp. The roads are terrible. I think there are over 300 sites here. There are two main sections. The first section up here where the old mansion, if you will. Massive. Also the campground over there. That's the section we're in. We're in, I believe, R9, which is a decent little site. We were able to get our fifth wheel in there, no problem. It's tight, but private. It's a full hookup. That's the other thing about the sites around the campground. There are some full hookups here and there, some with sewer, some with water and electric. I believe all of them have water and electric. But again, some are 30, some are 50 amp. I'm going to show you there's a completely different area where there's a big recreation building, activity center that's massive down at the other end. And again, there are hundreds of sites down there too on what was the banks of the lake, which is now just a dried up. It's very sad. There's kind of a sad feeling here to me. Again, this is my opinion, but you get a kind of a sad feeling that this is like a, I won't say post-apocalyptic, but not far from it. There's so much unrealized potential. This could be a wonderful place. I'm going to show you a few of the campsites and down at the end, and I'll let you form your own opinion. Come along with me today. You've got 3 showers. Again, not terrible. Could be a little cleaner down in the corners here. A little bleach would help. Otherwise, it's relatively new. You know, your typical. Unfortunately, only one toilet. That's unusual. I would bring a foot pad. I have a little bamboo foot pad I bring with me for these bathrooms. But otherwise, not bad. Very nice hot tub and pool. Basketball court that looks like the Harlem Globetrotters played there in the 40s. And as you can see, these buildings are from a bygone era. The laundry is usable. You use the CSC Pay. All the machines seem to be in working order. I'm going to show you guys a little bit around the other parts of the campground now. You can see these roads. They are really rough. Just terrible. If you do come in here and camp here, make sure you come in very slowly and keep your eye on the road. There's some big holes in here. You could really mess your rig up or throw your truck out of alignment. When you come through this A section, this is A34. It's not bad. It's a drive through. This is electric and water, 30 amp. Most of these in here are 30 amp and water. Most people seem to come to these perimeter sites. These are not bad. Let's see how we're looking here. Painted not too long ago. Pretty decent. Old school for sure. Not terrible, but you know, if you look close, it could use some serious, you know, bleaching and a good thorough cleaning. Again, it's just kind of willy-nilly. It's like, now here we're in A8. Let's see what kind of power they have here. There you go, brand new 5030 with water. I mean, this is really nice. A little tight up there, you know, but I believe any size fifth wheel or anything could make it in there, no problem. And you'd be right here by the bathhouse. So that one is a good one. Put that one in the books. As you can see though, the grounds are just, they're unkempt. I believe that's a correct word. Unkempt. Not much maintenance going on here. Before we're in R9. Starlink was great. You just, if you want to have a pole, you can get it above the trees. This was a nice little campsite. Just up the hill from the main road. It's to the back section. You have the activity center over here on the left, horseshoes, playground for the kids. The activity center is absolutely massive. I'm going to show you in a few minutes how big that thing is. You could literally have a party of 300 people in there. You'll see. Look at the size of this place. Lighting, I assume that comes on at night. Like I said, shuffleboard, pickleball court. It's air conditioned. Lots of things to do here. Toys, games for the kids. Nice area to sit over here. Music room. Cowboy singer. There are photos of him all around. Library here. Not the best library I've seen, but a lot of kids' books and a few games for the kids. And they have a Keurig coffee machine for your use. A couple microwaves. Looks like there's probably a kitchen back there. But I will say the campsites back in this section are much better. And there's a lot more 50 amp sites. A mini golf course, or putt-putt as we used to call it. In pretty good shape. Looks like all the indoor-outdoor carpet is in good shape. I would say that if I was coming here to camp with my family, I'd come back in this section, because if you look around, you could find nice sites. Even for Starlink, if you need a view of the northern sky, you can find a few that would work. Hundreds of sites in here. Again, a little rough. The road is better back here until you get on the interior parts, and then it's the same as the other. Pretty rough. This, my friends, says fish cleaning only. Well, no one's cleaning any fish around here, because there are none. Someone's net and some trash and a sad little car. So here's the boat launch. Isn't that sad? Wow. This place has just dried up. Looks like as the water was receding, they were trying to keep up with it by adding on this section of concrete and then a third section of concrete as it got lower and lower. And then they just finally gave up. But as you can see, this was a massive lake at one point. And no mas. no mas. All good things must pass, they say. Again, without some kind of a serious investment, I don't see this place lasting. But maybe someone will buy it. Someone with a pot of money, nothing better to do. And maybe even figure out a way to bring that lake back to life. Dog park. Looks like it's pretty well used. So there is a dog park. The view over here is nice, even with the lake being gone. Again, it just makes me sad to see that. Sorry. All you Seinfeld fans, I pulled off a really good cut and chat when we got into church. Worked beautiful.
First, we have the indigenous era, pre-1717. Long before the Spanish arrived in the New World, the area around San Antonio was a gathering place for numerous tribes and indigenous peoples. San Antonio River and its tributaries brought life into the landscape. The native people of the region carved out a life out of a harsh environment nearly 10,000 years before Spanish explorers came to the area. Their history is the foundation of the Alamo story. And then the mission period was 1718 to 1793, first occupying this location in 1724. The Alamo, at that time known as Mission San Antonio de Valero, served as a religious outpost of the Spanish Empire. As a means of controlling the area from outside claims, Spanish missionaries sought to convert local indigenous people to their way of life. Cultural exchange between these two groups created a lasting impact on the San Antonio area and helped us to tell the story of its significance in world affairs. Birth of a fortress, 1794 to 1834. By 1793, a new era began. Mission San Antonio de Valero was converted into a frontier fort for the Spanish Army. A small company of soldiers known as La Segunda Compañía Volante de San Carlos de Alamo de Parras, or the Alamo Company, occupied the fortress. Years of unrest and upheaval turned into war as Mexico sought independence from Spain. Mexico won its independence in 1821, and in 1833 a new president, Antonio López de Santa Anna, was elected. Shortly after his election, revolutions broke out in Mexico against his authoritarian rule. The Texas Revolution was 1835 to 1836. Revolutions in lower Mexico spread across into Mexican Texas and led to what we now know as the Texas Revolution. A significant battle of the Revolution took place on this ground on March 6, 1836. Texans gathered behind the Alamo walls while thousands of Mexican soldiers slowly surrounded the town and the Alamo. On March 6, the Mexican army attacked, overwhelming the Texans and soundly defeating them. Cries of "Remember the Alamo" were heard less than 2 months later during the final battle of the Texas Revolution at San Jacinto, where Texan forces defeated the Mexican army, captured Santa Ana, and won their independence. After that, it turned into a frontier post. After the Revolution, Texas became an independent nation until joining the United States in 1846. The Alamo served as a staging post for the U.S. Army and later the Confederacy during the Civil War. While this period included much upheaval and danger, it led to an era of relative calm and peacefulness that allowed the city of San Antonio to grow into the late 1800s. During this time, changes were made to the buildings, such as the addition of a roof, second floor, and the Alamo's iconic hump-shaped parapet. Ruin to Memorial, 1886 to today. That's the ruins of the long barrack there. During the late 1800s, the city of San Antonio began to grow, and private homes, small businesses, and larger commercial developments moved across the river into Alamo Plaza. This new growth, some of the historic buildings of Mission Valero and the Alamo were lost. Two women, Adina de Zavala and Clara Driscoll, as well as other members of the Daughters of the Republic of Texas, took up the cause of preserving the Alamo Church and Long Barrack. Through their efforts, as well as that of the state of Texas and the city of San Antonio, the Alamo became a monument to the story of Texas.
Lieutenant Torres is one of the many Mexican heroes that died that day. One of the last areas to fall was the palisade in front of the church. Here, after close hand-to-hand fighting, Crockett and his volunteers were overrun.
Turned out to be a really nice day here in San Antonio as we explore the Alamo, a place I've always wanted to go. Some of my heroes were represented here, Davy Crockett in particular. What did you think, Martha?
I thought it was great. I really enjoyed the collections. It's worth getting a ticket to go inside the church as well as view the collections. And one thing I found very interesting was that Phil Collins, famous drummer, Genesis, donated. He was a huge collector and historian about Texas history, and he donated lots and lots of artifacts and paintings and so forth. And it's really cool to see the evolution of the Alamo and how it was used and what it was used for, and it was used long after the battle of, as the Mexicans called it, the battle against the United States.
Remember the Alamo.
Remember the Alamo, yes.
For many years, and yeah, I think it's an important place in American history as well as Mexican history.
Oh,
and
that would be a cannon.
Martha may need to check her pants now because that made her jump. Out here at the Ambler in San Antonio. So far, me and Miss Martha are about to have lunch.
It is lovely. Yes, not too hot. We've got the smoker going over there, and
yeah,
get a little whiff of that every now and then. So
smells good.
It does smell good. We got to get some barbecue before we leave here.
Fitness.